Unique New York. Unique New York.
Hey everyone, welcome to Jabbering Jawas with your hosts, Joey Clark and
Will, the Thrill, Stafford.
Or as we like to be called around here, Joey One Kenobi and Will Sith. Of course, we're going to be talking Mandalorian today. We got Chapter 11, or sometimes you might be referring to this as the third episode of whatever season because you don't read. Yeah, a lot. This is probably arguably the best episode out of Mando history. Not a long history, but it's solid. And then just a warning for all of you Padawans under the age of 18. We will curse. We will talk about stuff you shouldn't be hearing. So either put your earbuds in or get the hell out of here. Or if you got cool parents, man, turn it up. So
Turn up.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's really much Star Wars news. A bunch of new Star Wars toys are coming out. A lot of cool Black Series figures. They released the images for some of the Bad Batch figures, Asajj Ventress, and then the rumors for Bo-Katan and some other fan favorites in the Black Series and the Vintage Collection from Hasbro. This is not a paid ad, but I do buy a lot of fucking toys. So just a heads up on that for all you collectors, if you're out there. And also, I can't wait to get my Sideshow the Child life-size figure. I'll probably be here next month.
Does it float? Does it float and everything? No.
No, but it does do the magic hand.
No, there you go. That'd be awesome if it could float. We're not there yet. One day, though.
Yeah, one day. Like when back in my day, we had to hold it to float.
Yeah. We had to put it on strings. And
I played with a stick.
But yeah, no, that makes sense. They're releasing some Bo-Katan stuff because her popularity is about to fucking skyrocket. Like I already saw, I was on Twitter and stuff. Like first off, the actress, because it's the same voice actress playing that. Like I saw that her Twitter was blowing up. Like people were all over that. And she was like, "Oh, thank you guys for like the support and all this stuff." And I'm so glad that she's getting like recognition, you know. And I'm glad that like just people in general who were in Clone Wars, who were fucking great, are getting recognition.
Yeah.
For what in Clone Wars and now on here. So like that's really cool to see, and it makes me excited. Like when they introduce AHSOKA, like I just can't wait for more people to know AHSOKA. And
is Wi-Fi okay?
What?
Is your Wi-Fi all right?
Am I cutting out or anything?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think you're fine now.
Not really. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. Actually, hold on 1 second. I will cut this out. I need to turn off my fan. That's not constantly in the background. But then the light adjust. Yeah, I was just saying. Now that like the popularity of Bo-Katan right now is making me excited because I think AHSOKA, when she comes out, yeah, she's gonna blow up because AHSOKA deserves so much more recognition. So we shall see. We shall see. So I actually wanted to start off with a question real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Because I think we talked about this on the last one. Dave Filoni, obviously, he's going to be directing episode 5. Do you think there's any chance that we see AHSOKA in episode 4? Or do you think they're going to wait for Dave Filoni's episode to actually introduce her? Will we see like a snippet of her? Like, will she be in there? But then like episode 5 would be a more important episode. Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
So it can go one of two ways. Kind of like how last season where like the 4th episode was like a pit stop to kind of recharge, and then I'm hoping they don't do that just because I want the story to move forward. I don't want the same exact thing to happen. That's where it starts getting boring and stale. But I think if it does go that route, they're probably going to stop off and tell Grief Karga and Cara Dune, "Hey, I need your help to find this person."
Yeah.
Or they're going to have to stop somewhere to fix the Razor Crest because it's all fucked up. But then again, he said this will be a bumpy ride. So I figure they're just going to go straight there. But nothing on that ship looked like it's at all working that well. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like if they do that, we might see her at the very end of 4. You might not even hear her say a word. It could just be a cliffhanger. Then Filoni takes over and does all of 5.
Mhm.
If anything, maybe whoever's directing the 4th episode of this season will be like, they'll direct it, but Filoni has that part of direction to introduce. So he's not credited as the director, but he's directed her in that episode.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I just really, and we discussed this. I kind of hope that Mando just stops doing this repetitive thing of, oh, I'll help you for information. I'll help you for information. Like, can we just let him have a fucking crew? Like, just
Yeah.
have some people to go with instead of being alone. Because I know someone said that and mentioned it was repetitive, and I started thinking like, yeah, it is pretty repetitive.
Yeah. I definitely I agree with you there. It's definitely a lot of him like he has to go on this mission in order to find something so he can complete his actual mission. He's got to keep going on these little mini missions, and then I need to find this person. I need to find this person. I need to find this person who knows this, who could possibly help me find this so that I can find this. And yeah, it's kind of been most of the show right now. And I do agree. I think that for that reason, I am pretty sure the next episode there he's going to go meet up with Karga and Cara Dune, and they're gonna finally form like a crew, because I mean that's such a big part of Star Wars, just like the crews and everything, traveling, space together with whoever. So I definitely think that that's probably where the next episode is gonna go, and then we'll probably be introduced to Ahsoka at the very end with like a kind of Luke-esque cliffhanger, like Force Awakens, or maybe she'll say something. And I don't think you need Dave Filoni for her to say like a few words at the end of an episode of something. And even if they did, like, yeah, you're right, he's gonna be involved in it, like no matter what, whatever she appears in. Because obviously there's gonna be episodes after the one that Dave Filoni directs, and she'll probably be in at least 1 or 2 of them, as well. But yeah, we'll see. Definitely, I was honestly surprised that they even dropped her name in this episode. I
Same.
really thought they were gonna keep like just hinting at shit, and that was it. And we have to keep speculating, but she straight up just said it, and I was like, I guess that makes sense because this is Bo-Katan. Like she's gonna straight up just like she's really like a no nonsense kind of like no bullshit kind of person, Bo-Katan. So she's like, yeah, just go here, find the Bo-Katan. Thanks for helping. Bye. Like like yeah.
Do you think they should have revealed her name?
Do I think they should have revealed her name in that?
Yeah, because for me, like when she said Jedi, I knew the fuck she was talking about. I didn't need her to say Ahsoka Tano. Was I really excited and was like, yes, it's fucking legit? Yeah, I was shaking. I was literally shook.
Yeah.
When watching it, I was like, damn, this is really fucking cool. But part of me kind of wishes they didn't, just because even though I know who it is, I know who she was talking about because she's only close to one Jedi, which would be Ahsoka. Like she didn't really know anybody else all that well.
Who wasn't friends with any of the rest of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially after the whole thing with the siege of Mandalore, like, and then the fact that she says she knew a Jedi or whatever, like she refers to Ahsoka as a Jedi, right?
I believe that she does in that episode. Yeah.
So it's
Does
weird.
she?
I would think she wouldn't, because Ahsoka would have told her by then that she left, or didn't she hint at it in Clone Wars to her?
I don't know if they discuss like kind of the like just like the intricacies of why she wasn't in the Order anymore. And to me, I feel like a Mandalorian wouldn't really care about all that. They're like, oh, you have a lightsaber, you use the Force and shit, you're a Jedi, you know, or you're a Sith. I feel like that's kind of probably how she thinks of it. She's like, people like Maul, he's a Sith. Like, she probably didn't sit there and question whether Maul was, you know, a Sith or not. She's just like, oh, here's this fucking evil dude who's, you know, trying to take over my planet. Fuck this guy, you know. I'm pretty sure that's how she kind of thinks about things. Even if, and I mean, we might be looking too much into it also, and it might just been like, it could have just been like a writer just kind of like that, like one little slip, but they didn't really think about it. Where they're like, oh yeah, she's not supposed to be a Jedi, or it could be something, and maybe you're right about Ahsoka becoming a Jedi again, and maybe starting her own sort of thing. Who knows? So
Yeah. Just for everyone, for reference, Will and I had this discussion where I think it might be possible that Ahsoka readopted the Jedi religion and maybe started her own version of it, or maybe she is working with Luke. Like, here's the thing, and we've talked about this in great length. They've dropped a lot of surprises on us. Within the first 3 episodes, we have Boba Fett, we have Bo-Katan, other Mandalorians, and now we got Ahsoka. That's just the first 3 episodes this season that are confirmed. And it seems really weird that all of these leaks that were official Disney Plus leaks that mention Rosario Dawson's name and involvement with Ahsoka. I feel like if they wanted to, they could have kept this under wraps, like with Baby Yoda or the child. I think there has to be something bigger by the end of this season, whether it's a Luke Skywalker, Thrawn. The reason why I'm really pushing for Luke and why I think it's possible is because they seem to understand what people did not like about the sequel trilogy and are doubling down on the things that people really love. One of the things that people most did not care for, even if they liked The Last Jedi, they didn't care for the way that Luke was handled. I know people that love The Last Jedi, but they still say, I don't like the way Luke was handled. I like the rest, and I can understand. That's cool. But Luke was terrible. And I think they might give some a way for maybe Luke to shine at least once more. I really think that character deserved a lot more, and I'm kind of hoping Filoni or Favreau at some point do a Luke Skywalker Jedi Academy series just to see that mighty Jedi that we always wanted to.
Yeah.
If not, I think it could very well be Thrawn because I think someone has to be over Moff Gideon. I don't think he's the big bad in this.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I would think Thrawn is a very possible answer because, like, he could have survived, both him and Ezra. And they both went their separate ways. Maybe they found a way to get out together. And they were like, all right, see ya. We're still not cool, but at least we both lived.
Yeah.
Because Thrawn has been known to, in some canon, make friends with people if it meant to survival, including Anakin Skywalker in a book. So it's possible. Or maybe it's Palpatine going, I'm pulling my puppet strings of Moff Gideon.
Yeah, my only thing is if it was Palpatine, I feel like they couldn't really show us too much with him because he's supposed to be like doing all this shit in secret apparently over all this time until Rise of Skywalker, which wasn't intentional, but yeah, he was supposed to be doing all these things in secret and we just had no idea. But sorry, going back to the Ahsoka reveal thing, I have to agree. Like, even though I was really excited that they dropped the name, and like I loved it. I was like, oh my god, Ahsoka, yeah, she's coming. And I was like sitting there, and like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh wait, we literally just talked about how Dave Filoni's like, yeah, he's doing episode 5. So now my only worry is that, I mean, it'll only be a worry for like 1 week at least, and that's it. But my only worry is that this next episode could possibly disappoint if it's not really, really good. Because I feel like this is a possibility that they're not going to. This isn't going to be the episode that they introduce Ahsoka. It's going to be like you said, a pit stop. He's going to go, meet up with Karga and Cara Dune, whatever, something like that. And there'll be kind of a little like side thing before they get to Ahsoka. And I feel like there's going to be some people who are now their expectations are set up to where they're like, we're going to see Ahsoka next episode. And I've already seen it like so much on like Twitter and on Facebook, all this shit. People are like, we're going to see Ahsoka. Let's go. It's just like, might not be next episode, guys. Just just hedge your expectations a little bit, So that's just my only thing about that is I kind of wish they would have kind of kept it a little bit secret still, so that you could at least like kind of like there'd be some sort of question. Like we all know that Ahsoka's gonna be there. Like we know, but I still would like the possibility that we're wrong. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. I honestly did. Okay, did you expect Bo-Katan to be in this series, let alone in this season?
To an extent, because I heard a lot of solid rumors about it. And Katie Sackhoff's name appearing, and I know who she is, and I know she looks, and even from the episode, she does look like a live-action Bo-Katan. Sounds obviously like her because she's the one that played her. So I didn't know when she would show up. I was honestly thinking it wouldn't be till like towards the end. So I was not expecting it, but once I saw that armor, I was like, it's fucking on. We got Bo-Katan. I was happy as hell because I'm a big Satine fan, and she's the last connection to Satine, and she might say something about her sister, which would be cool. And I think Bo is awesome because she has a great connection to Ahsoka. And it would be interesting. Hopefully, there's a little more information revealed about the two and what's been going on. The one thing that I really worry about, that I think about, I really enjoyed The Mandalorian, but the one thing, and I'm not afraid of criticizing it because I gave a lot of shit to the sequel trilogy. The one thing I do worry about is, and I know Filoni, he does take his time to build things up. And I'm guessing maybe it's kind of rubbed off on Favreau as well. But again, I've stressed this. Mando only has 8 episodes. We don't know how many seasons this show's going to go for. So I think they have to go for broke and really just hit story every episode. And I feel like they don't. So everything really needs to start having longer arcs. Like the Mando himself, I feel like has grown as a character, and I like seeing that. But I'm not seeing that from other people.
Well,
not really, because they keep speaking.
We haven't seen the other characters yet. That's the other thing that's the one thing that worries me is like if we're wrong about episode 4 and we don't get Cara Dune and Karga in this next episode, then it's like, yeah, we're kind of missing out on some development of those two. Because I think they are definitely going to form a crew in this, and they even had them like that's the other thing. They had them in so much in the promotions for this season, which is like it's weird to me that we haven't seen them at all yet. And I even looked at IMDb, and for some reason they had Cara Dune listed in the cast list for episode 3, and I don't know why. I'm like, she wasn't in this at all that I saw. Like, right? I'm not tripping, right? Like, I didn't see her at all. So I'm like, why is she?
You can't trust IMDb.
Yeah, like, do they count? Like, was she in the little preview before or something? Like, I don't think so.
You can't count IMDb because anyone like Wikipedia can edit it. As long as I think as long as they have an IMDb Pro account, which you just have to pay for. That's why, yeah, there's no guarantee with IMDb. You just have to wait till it comes out unless you have an official readout. But yeah, but I also think the reason that they went heavy on those characters was to hide and take focus off. I think a lot of the advertisement is obviously, even the indirect one, I don't think those leaks were unintentional. I think they were intentional to get focus. Like, obviously for us hardcore fans, we love the fact that Ahsoka is there, and we might think that is the biggest thing. For everybody, though, I would think maybe bringing an original trilogy character, i.e. Luke Skywalker, that is more of an impact, I think, overall. So that's why I kind of am thinking it's a possibility he could be brought up. And people will be like, I thought he died. And it's like, well, no, but this is before, so we get to see him before. And I'm like, oh, shit, really? Like, I think I'm making myself think more and more that we're going to see him. If it doesn't happen, I'm totally cool. I just would love one day to see Luke and Ahsoka talking. Awesome. And I know we're talking a lot about Ahsoka and not too much about the episode. We will in a bit, but For Ahsoka, what do you think she's gonna do? Because I think people think she's gonna be this total badass, and I think to an extent she might do a little something cool, but she's not. It's not the Ahsoka show. It's still the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But they also said they were gonna focus in on other characters, so it makes me wonder if maybe I don't know. He drops the child off of the Ahsoka, and it's like her episode, and he's like making his way back to Navarro. And
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I feel like with all these leaks that we've been talking about on here, and they're talking about, oh, there's going to be like separate stuff with like different characters and stuff. I feel like that might honestly happen. I think he's going to like drop the child off with Ahsoka or something, and then we're gonna get this moment where he's like, it's kind of like he has to leave this child that he's been watching. And it's almost like hurting him, and then maybe then he goes and meets back up with Cara Dune and Reeve Karga, perhaps, and then they kind of have there's like separate adventures going, and then something happens, and Gideon ends up with the child, and now they have to like all team up to go get it again. My only problem with that theory, as I was saying it, is I'm like, I understand that it's possible. I'm not saying that she's like, fucking like so strong that it can't happen. I would just hate to see her with the child, and then that's when it gets taken, because I just like, I don't want Ahsoka to be the one to lose a child. Like, I'm just So I'm thinking,
think that would happen.
Yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't see that happening with Ahsoka. So I'm like, maybe it's possible that maybe on their way, or maybe like episode 4, he meets up with Cara Dune and Karga, and then maybe the child gets taken, or possibly in episode 5, and then they're like, okay, now we really need to go find Ahsoka, and she needs to help us, please. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same. Like, one of the other theories I had was, since the ship is all jacked up, maybe they board the Mando ship, or and then they take the child that way. That was one of my theories, but I think I lean towards yours a little bit more, because they're probably still stationed around Navarro and might secretly infiltrate. And Giancarlo Esposito does mention he spends quite a bit of time with that child, so I wouldn't be surprised if like he gets kidnapped in 4, and like maybe we see a little bit of his force powers, and then maybe Mando's like, oh fuck, we definitely need a force user now.
Yeah, and he was definitely like talking. He was talking to that ship captain, obviously, and we'll get to the episode, in just a bit. But he's talking to that ship captain as he's telling him, like, take the ship down and shit. So it's like he knows. I don't know he probably does know, like, okay, there's somebody here, and if he does have force powers, he might just be able to sense it. You know what I mean? So he's like, you know what? I sense something here. I need to go to this planet, and then he ends up catching up to them, possibly, because his ship is it's fucked up. But yeah, I was thinking. So yeah, you just want to get into the episode?
Yeah, we can speculate more afterward. Yeah, this was pretty interesting overall, to say the least. The fact that I know some people have been talking about it, and I didn't know until they said it, but how Bryce Dallas Howard directed the episode, and she did the little homage to her father with Apollo 13 falling into the atmosphere, and the same thing with Mando's ship. I thought that was a really cool moment to kind of just start everything off. And I honestly, I felt a little bit of a heart tug when I saw the 2 frog creatures reconnect. It was a sweet little moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything hit nicely. Throughout the episode, I felt like it was cool to, see calamari and also see Quarren roaming about. I always thought those 2 creatures were really cool looking. And just to see them interacting with one another was kind of cool, because I know that there was tension between the Quarren and Mon Calamari during the Clone Wars. So it's kind of cool to see how they're going now. I'm kind of living in a somewhat peaceful society, and then Mando gets tricked when, on a ship, and then lo and behold, Mandalorians pop up, and it's Bo-Katan, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just so badass. And then Bo-Katan's like, "Hey, help me, and I'll tell you where this Jedi is at." I only started really having an issue with the episode. Um, there was only one really big thing that bothered me, which was when they're on in the cargo bay. That Imperial officer had no sense of urgency, and it was probably some of the worst acting I've seen since the prequels.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, which one? The one who was in the cargo bay or the
yeah, the one that got sucked
captain?
out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, I like the captain a lot. It's
Yeah,
just
well, that guy, he was in Lost, and he's just a good actor. I do like that guy. But yeah, that I agree with you with the dude in the cargo bay. He did that one funny line where he's like,
get the
wait,
doors.
hit the doors. Which doors? All of them. He's just like really scared, and I thought that was funny. But yeah, definitely the rest of what he was doing, I was just like, okay, well, I'm glad they just like sucked him out the fucking door. Like, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about before. When I talk about TV, like how TV is just not movies. Like you just kind of get different because they had to get so many actors on TV shows because they need like different people for like different things. And this isn't like The Walking Dead or something where they can just put people in different zombie makeup and shit and like recycle them or something. Like they had to keep getting new actors for certain parts. And I mean, I guess they could for the alien roles, they could have the same people. But yeah, for like speaking roles, yeah, you usually have to get somebody different, and it's a mixed bag, you know. And
yeah.
I'm assuming that they have a certain turnaround with Disney, so that I'm pretty sure they don't have enough time to just like do a bunch of reshoots with random Empire officer number 5. You know what I mean? So it's like,
And
yeah,
with COVID, you didn't really get, the opportunity to do much either. So, I
yeah,
mean, honestly, it's a small gripe in the awesomeness of this episode. It was
yeah.
just those things where it really took me out. I think it's just because I mean, both you and I, we really pay attention to the details because it is all about the details.
Yeah.
Just like Knives Out is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I can remember one line that takes me out of it for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
It's delivered so weird. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just one of those things, but it's a nitpick overall. Like I said, the only other issue is just I hope that all of these things, I trust Filoni and Favreau, but I want all of these to come to a head and have a good character arc because I do want to see, I don't think Bo Katan necessarily stole the show. It was great to see her, but I still am invested in the Mando.
Yeah.
Um, and it would have been cool,
No, I can never say his name, but yes.
Din Djarin, but
Yes.
and like I wouldn't say she really upstaged him all that much. Like maybe yeah, when she showed up, like oh awesome, but like he was the one that walked forward, taking all the bullets, and
Hmm.
tossing explosives. So the cool thing is, even though she's present and it's awesome for her to be there, he's still doing things that I think are cooler. So
Yeah, yeah.
to me,
Um,
that was the cool thing that I think that they did a nice balance of it. And I wouldn't see there being a problem with her being a part of his team. I think it'd be cool for her to teach him more about the lore, or
mhm.
cause he's gonna start questioning shit
Yeah,
uh,
because
because of what he said.
I mean, he was with the Watch, like the Death Watch, and I didn't think about that at first, but I was like, oh yeah, the Watch. That's like Death Watch, and they're trying to do things like old school or whatever. But so yeah, his views are going to be kind of challenged now, especially with somebody as like just straightforward and like badass as Bo-Katan. But hey, going back to you were saying about the beginning of the episode and everything. Well, first off, I gotta say this show has been amazing with the Star Wars references and like using different parts of the lore and like legends and everything, and bringing them into canon. But it's also been really good with just movie references and shit. Because like you said, the Apollo 13 thing in the other episode, they had the giant ant because the director of Ant-Man like directed it. In this episode, they also had the like kind of face hugger thing going on. And it's like I'd love that they throw these like random like movie references into this as well. And it's like they don't have to be obvious about it. It's just like because you've seen these movies. and it's like influences from people that they work with you know, we said Bryce Dallas Howard and their father, like shit like that. It's like it's really cool. And I will say I hated on the Frog Lady a lot in the first episode that she was in, but you're right, when they were reunited with their, it gave them like a certain like, it gave her more of this like certain quality of like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then even like later in the episode when like the little frogling hatches, and then you can kind of see Baby Yoda understands like, oh, this is life now. Oh, look at that, you know, and he's like trying to play with it. Like, yeah, those moments were actually like, they kind of got me a little. I'm like, all right, you know what, fine, Frog Lady's okay, fine. And then yeah, seeing the calamari and the Corinth like live like that was really cool. And they did a good job with just how they looked. And then when Bo-Katan was introduced, that was actually really funny when I was watching it. Because first off, I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but I looked away. And then all of a sudden, fucking Baby Yoda was in the fucking water, and I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck happened?" And it got swallowed. I was like, "Oh fuck, what?" I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, and I realized they were the fucking ones who did it. I'm like, "Oh fuck, god damn it, they're betraying him." And then they flew in to save him, and I was looking at like Bo-Katan, and at first I didn't really think about it, but I was like sitting there like, "Man, that armor's so familiar. Like, whose armor is that?" And I watched the subtitles, so like she said something, and it said like Bo-Katan. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh fuck, it's Bo-Katan." I was like, "Well, that's where I fucking recognize her." And it's funny because I remember we talked about this like last episode, how they were using Sasha Banks as a, like we were saying, I'm like, they're using Sasha Banks as like, they're probably using her as a diversion, like just as a distraction. And like I don't think her character even had a name that I saw. Like, did
I
you?
think it's. I have to look it up.
Is she's Bo-Katan's daughter, I guess?
No, she
Is
does
she?
have a name. Let me look up real
I
quick.
thought I heard something where like her last name was Kreese. So I'm like, is she her daughter? Has Bo-Katan just been getting busy all over the galaxy? Like
Yeah, with who?
shit, whoever she wants. She's Bo-Katan.
So it says her name is Koska Reeves.
Oh, Reeves. Okay. I thought somebody said Kreese, but Reeves. Okay.
That sounds really close. I could see how you get messed up on that.
Or
But
she's part black, so she's Lando's daughter. Nah, I'm kidding. Uh, uh, but yeah, I knew it, man. I was like, you know, I feel like they want us to sit here and speculate about, you know, Sasha Banks. And I'm like, we said like maybe she could be Sabine, but I'm like, no, I don't think so.
same. I was like, there's no way she's playing. I hope she wasn't. And it's just because I don't think she represents who Sabine is. She's a badass, and I'm glad like that she's getting a role in Mando. But
I really love her armor. It looks cool as fuck. Like I love how like the sharp kind of like
yeah,
edges to it. Man, that's really cool.
but yeah, she doesn't look like Sabine. Like I've said, Sabine is probably. Patya is the first one to tell me Sabine's probably someone that's like Pacific Islander, more Filipino. Um, just because like if you look at, and I know Rebels is highly stylized, but if you look at the facial shapes with her parents and her brother especially, that's either mixed race with Pacific Islander and black, or it's Pacific Islander.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like we said, that was definitely a red herring they threw out there for us in the trailers and shit. And that, yeah, I wasn't expecting Bo-Katan to like just be like in this fucking show. I was like maybe in the back of my head, but I guess I was just completely fucking like baffled. I was like, oh shit, okay, I didn't even fucking think about that. I don't think we even speculated about that. So I was like, oh fuck. Well, of course, it makes sense. It's the Mandalorian, but I'm glad she was in it, and I'm glad that her voice actress from Clone Wars looks a lot like her. So yeah, like that's honestly like perfect, that casting. So yeah, I was just, that shit was exciting, man.
Who do you think would play Sabine? Do you think Tia Sarkar has a good chance at playing her?
Well, Tia Sakara is more like, see, what do you like, East Asian, I believe, like, and then like Indian almost. So I feel like probably not, because Sabine, like you said, she looks more like Filipino, which is like Islander and everything, like Pacific Islander. So I don't think so. I mean, obviously, like T. Sakar's voice would be perfect for her because she was the voice of Sabine. But yeah, and like looks wise, I don't think she would look like Sabine. I mean, I guess they could do a little bit with like the makeup and everything, perhaps. But yeah, I just don't think the way that they made Sabine that she would look like that actually. Unfortunately, it's just like with that Ashley Eckstein, like we talked about. She's been great as Ahsoka, but she just doesn't look like Ahsoka. So yeah.
And it sucks so much because I would love nothing more than Ashley to portray her, but we already kind of know that's going to happen. I mean, and I know we've had this discussion before, and I think Rosario Dawson has a really good resemblance, but do you think it's possible that if it's only one episode that they're planning on using her, do you think they might do voiceover with Ashley Eckstein?
I just don't think it's possible. I'm pretty sure that they're not planning on using her for only one episode. Like if they're gonna introduce Ahsoka, they're definitely gonna put her in other stuff. If not her own show, like we were talking about, like Luke spinoffs, other like live actions they might do. I feel like they're definitely gonna put Ahsoka in multiple things, and it's Rosario Dawson. I'm pretty sure it's probably like in her fucking contract that she needs like a certain amount of like lines and all this other shit. Like, 'cause she's in so much, you know. Like Rosario Dawson's in a lot. Yeah, I just don't see them getting that high profile of an actor in doing that. Like it's one thing when it was like Ray Stevenson and Sam Witwer, like we were talking about, because
Ray
obviously, yeah, sorry, Ray. What did I say? Ray Stevenson? Oh god, that's completely different. Ray Park. Yeah, Ray Stevenson. That's fucking Punisher. What am I talking about? Not one thing was Ray Park and Sam Witwer, because obviously Ray Park didn't really speak anyway. So yeah. I very much doubt it. Like I said, I hope they at least let Ashley Eckstein be there, so she can be like, okay, this is what I felt when I recorded like this, like when Ahsoka did this, because she literally like grew up that character. She played that character from when she was a kid to when she was a grown woman. So it's like she can provide a lot of insight into like this is how I felt doing this scene. This is what I think Ahsoka was feeling like, what she was thinking here. And I think that would be really good. And I mean, obviously they have Filoni, who he obviously would also know that because he wrote it and like created the character and everything. But I think it would be cool to have Ashley like there consulting and everything too.
That's why I wonder, like, she made an Instagram, I think, video or at least a post a while ago, and it might still be up, where she was talking about, the potential of a live action Ahsoka because there were so many rumors about it earlier this year. And she was saying, like, I have no idea or any knowledge about a live action Ahsoka. I have not been asked to do anything. So I wonder if she knew at that point or if they kept it from her. But I feel like Dave would tell her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't
like
know, but
I feel she probably like at least knew, and like I mean it's Disney, they're not gonna allow her to say anything, so obviously she's not gonna say that she would know, even if she did. And if she did do anything like on it, she definitely wouldn't say that she knew. So yeah, it's hard to say, but just given the fact of how high profile of an actress Rosario Dawson is, I just don't see them doing that with the voiceover stuff. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe for some reason she's like, Rosario Dawson was watching Clone Wars and she's like, oh my god, I love this girl. Can she do the voiceover? I don't know. Who knows? Like, but I doubt it. We'll see.
okay. Sure. Just turning on my lights. Sorry about that. It's just getting dark. But yeah, I think Rosario will do good. The one thing, and I've mentioned this episodes ago, I just really hope people don't forget about Ashley. especially if Rosario does an awesome job. Like, I hope they still honor the fact that without Ashley, this character would not be as good as she is.
Well, I think that people will finally watch Clone Wars more. Like, I've been especially since Mandalorian's come on, I've been trying to get more people like to watch like Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff. I'm telling you, like there's some excellent episodes in here. There are little episodes in those that are as good as like some of the movies,
Oh, but
or that 4
take over the sequel trilogy any day.
Yeah, or that 4-block episode of Clone Wars of the last season. I mean, that was honestly more exciting to watch than the Rise of Skywalker, but it was like it was just it hit all the beats. So yeah, that people definitely need to watch those. I hope that in turn people, I want to see more Ahsoka on like Twitter and shit. I want to see people making Twitter accounts for Ahsoka now. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna regret it because there's gonna be some weird shit going on. But
there's already weird shit going on. Well,
that's true. But it's at least like at a minimum right now. If it blows up, then it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like the new K-pop. It's gonna just be Ahsoka. It'll be like there's gonna be fan cams of like Ahsoka dancing or something. Kidding.
What I'm curious about is if Rosario Dawson would do Star Wars Celebration for autographs and signings, and like having Ashley Eckstein also there, and it's like, oof.
Bro, if I ever got to meet Rosario Dawson, oh my god. Anyway, hope my girlfriend's not watching this right now. I'm kidding. No, it would be cool to meet Rosario Dawson and Ashley for sure. They're amazing. Like I think, like you said, I think Rosario Dawson's gonna do a really good job. She's been a fucking excellent actress for shit since I can remember, since I was like a fucking kid. She's been in stuff like doing really fucking good. So I'm not too worried about her acting. And then we talked about this before. The only thing I'm worried about is that people are going to see more Rosario Dawson than Ahsoka. And that's my only worry about really, really high profile actors. Like I think Pedro Pascal's pretty high profile now, but he's behind a helmet right now in this show,
Well, Carl Weathers was at least more at one point.
He was like in the 80s, but at this point, like a lot of kids, they probably don't know who the fuck Carl Weathers is unless they watch like Predator or something. And then obviously people know who Gina Carano is, but as an actress, I don't think that she's like there yet.
No.
And then Giancarlo Esposito, and I think he's just so good at playing bad guys that I can always separate him from his characters because he's just really fucking good at it. Like he's really fucking good. So.
Oh no, I agree. You can definitely tell how much fun he has playing him.
Like, yeah, I'm almost worried he's an actual villain in real life or something.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised behind that smile. I was like, yeah, I run an empire. I'm a drug dealer.
I run a chicken place.
Triple threat, motherfucker.
Run a chicken place that runs drugs out of it. Yep. But yeah, sorry, the episode. Now that the action in this episode, I feel like has been some of the best period. I think because we got to see 4 badass Mandalorians like fighting. Trying to think if there's. I mean, I will say like there was like season 1, like the last episode, or when they were fighting the stormtroopers in the episode before. That was pretty good action as well. But this one, I don't know, just how they were going down the hall and everything. And the one thing I really love about Din Djarin is that he's really badass, but he's also like kind of like clumsy and goofy sometimes. Yeah. Like, he constantly makes mistakes. Like at the beginning of the episode when he does that badass landing and like just barely slows down and lands the plane, and it's like, oh man, that was badass, and then it just fucking falls in the water. And I love that they like put stuff in there because like he is a badass, but he's still like trying to learn and be better. Yeah. And even when he did that scene where he like took the grenades and he was like running down the hall getting shot, but like the way he was running is kind of like goofy, like because he's just getting shot. He's like, ow, 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 like he didn't. You could tell he didn't like think it through. He's just like, oh, maybe this will work, and then he's just getting fucking shot and like it's I love that he makes mistakes and everything, and he just seems like human. He seems human even though he's a total badass.
Yeah, but I think personally for me, I like the action. I think I need to rewatch it again to try and. There's something a little off about it for me personally, but I can't remember what. But my favorite action sequences in The Mandalorian are from the first season. So when the armor takes out that squad of 6 stormtroopers is like the best. And then I think when Din Djarin goes in and kills all those stormtroopers in order to find the child, those two sequences I think are personally my favorite too.
Oh yeah, from the first episode when he like hops on the fucking like the gun and shit and like shoots him like in a circle. That is when he's with the robot. When he's with the robot, right?
No, when he's trying to save the child in episode 3, like in the stormtroopers compound.
Oh yeah, okay.
When he's like trying to take him back.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, I just thought it was really cool to see a lot of like just a group of Mandalorians, and then I feel like my favorite part of this was him and Bo-Katan talking about, and we only got a little bit of it, but even them just like mentioning and talking about the differences between them as Mandalorians, because he was treating her exactly like he treated the Marshal in the first episode when he's like, "Where'd you get that armor? You're not a real Mandalorian," like all that shit, and they're like, "This." I mean, obviously we know we're like, he's saying this to Bo-Katan, okay, like
and like, you're not the real Mandalorian.
And I love how she like played with it. She's just like, oh, he's a child of the watch, guys. Like, and they're just like, this fucking guy. This, I hope we get more of that. So I'm hoping that she comes back this season, so we can just get a little bit more of them talking about like how his brand of Mandalorian ended up the way they are.
Do you think?
Really interesting.
Do you think? I think he's gonna learn more about that for sure down the line. Do you think whatever he learns will make him feel free to take off his helmet and we'll see him more?
I feel like that's one thing. I was thinking about that. I just feel like he's so used to not taking his helmet off so much that he's just like, it's like people right now during quarantine. You're like really used to having your fucking mask on all the time, and we were talking about this. You're like, oh, I'll go to like eat or something, and I'll forget sometimes. I'm like, oh wait, I gotta take this off, don't I? So I feel like that's like him, but like his whole life, he's just always had his mask on. So I almost feel like he won't, even though he learns this stuff, because he's just so used to always having it on.
Well,
and he just take it off for that robot, I guess, in season 1. But
in episode robot or in chapter 4 last season, like the lady asked, "When's the last time you took that off?" And he said, "This morning." And she said, "In front of people." So I mean, he's used to taking it off, just not when people are around.
Yeah, like they can't take it off in front of people. I just feel like he'll probably keep it on like in situations when there are people. That's all I'm saying. I feel like he's just so used to doing that. And especially like during battle, because I mean, I also feel like he's like, oh, this is gonna protect me, blah blah blah. And actually, this is something I was wondering about, because how he did that thing where he ran down the hall and he was getting shot by and obviously he has like the badass Beskar armor. But it made me think. I was like, is his armor possibly better than theirs? Because I'm like, could they have done that? Because I'm trying to think of like any of them would have done that. But I almost feel like, does he? Because they have Beskar armor as well, right? So it's like, but I wonder if there's like levels to it. It seems like him getting that and like getting it made was like a real big deal when he went to the armorer after he found that.
It might be because I was thinking about that too when he charged in. Maybe it's because they thought it was more of a suicide thing that like you couldn't come from or the fact that it's a fucking heavy ass or multiple heavy blasters going towards his way. So it's like, and I think some of them don't have as much coverage as he does because his armor seems to cover quite a bit of him. Theirs is a little more spaced out.
Got
So
the arms, like the shoulders. You got the chest, like helmet, everything. Like, yeah, because I wondered that too when I was looking at when he had Boba Fett's armor in the first one. I was like, I know that it's like Beskar, but I'm like, I also feel like Boba Fett's armor is obviously older. It's a little scratched up and rusted and all that shit. And I also find it interesting that with these Mandalorians, and we know about Sabine and everything, they seem to like to customize their armor more, and I think they even like his faction did. But when you think about the ones he was underground with, a lot of them had like their armors was, how do I put this? It was more like a knight's armor or something, whereas it seems that like Bo-Katan and her crew, there's a little bit more functional, like they probably move better and everything,
yeah.
So I find that interesting too. And I think they're talking about how the Child of the Watch, like all of them, they follow like the old ways of like Mandalore the Great from like the old Republic and shit. And I'm loving all these old Republic references, so make it happen.
Yeah, and kind of with the first Mandalorian, I would love if by the end of the series, the child is the first Mandalorian Jedi in like centuries.
That would be pretty awesome. Because the last one was a Vizsla. I'm pretty sure they said. So, yeah, that would be interesting for sure. Um, and then, yeah, in this episode, because I remember when it started, I looked and I was like 33 minutes or something, and I was like, oh man, it's kind of short. But somehow it was like one of the best episodes. They did everything that they possibly could in that 33 minutes. Like they didn't waste any time. They just kind of went right into it. So I was like, okay, that's good. And they didn't waste any of the episode. I feel like, besides maybe like the dude in the in the in the hangar who gets fucking shot out. But yeah, even that moment is pretty funny.
Yeah, I think one of the little things that I noticed on the Imperial side of things is that ship captain, I can't remember what his name is, but the Imperial ship captain or whatever, the one thing that I loved about him is like the way that he killed himself, because it was reminiscent of World War II, and the Empire has always been kind of be derived from World War II and Hitler's stormtroopers and all of that jazz. But the way that he killed himself, how he either bit down or something on that thing that shocked him to death, it reminded me of how in World War II that German soldiers, especially officers, they would hide a cyanide pill in their mouth. So in case anyone ever captured them, they would break it so they would die. And you foam at the mouth when you do that. So I thought it was cool how they did that with like the electric shock thing.
And even what Gideon said to him before he told him like to kill himself, he was like, what did they say? Long live the Empire or whatever. And that'd be like
the Empire.
That'd be similar to, how the German soldiers would always be like, Hail Hitler or something before they like kill themselves or whatever. Like they're willing to die for this guy. So it's like, I don't think they're dying for Gideon. Like you said, I also think that there's somebody probably bigger behind him. And he might just, they might not know. And like Gideon's kind of the figurehead right now. But yeah, we'll see. What I have before we finish this off, what do you think the chances that maybe it is like Palpatine or something, and he's using Gideon as kind of a vessel or a puppet, and that may be why Gideon has these force powers. Maybe he's doing a Snoke thing, but with somebody who's not a clone. Maybe, I don't know.
It's possible. The one thing that I wish they would have dove into more about Palpatine is like, so there's this really cool, and I gotta mention this too before we go, because it just came to mind. In Battlefront 2, Luke Skywalker, part of the story is that he goes and finds the Emperor, one of the Emperor's secret laboratories, and it kind of goes into that thing in Rebels where you see Palpatine kind of experimenting with Sith magic or something like that. And then there's, the Emperor's secret laboratory and his secret science experiments. Like, I would like to personally dive more into that type of stuff. Like, how do the Sith utilize natural elements and what do they do with it? I think they call it Sith alchemy, which is kind of cool. And I would be very curious to see more of that. And I think they might go that way. The other thing and why, so I think maybe we might see a little bit of that. Maybe we don't see directly, but we definitely know who and what it is. But the other thing too, though, is why I might think there might be a Thrawn involved is because I know the Emperor trusts Thrawn to a degree. I don't know why he would necessarily trust Moff Gideon unless they establish why that trust is there. Because I need to know why. Why do you trust this guy? Was he an Inquisitor that stayed loyal to you even after Vader fell and died? That would make sense. But
that'd be pretty strong, or whoever is in charge of him or whatever. They gotta be pretty strong. So they have to be very, very tough, very strong for these people to like. He didn't even question it. He just instantly went like, "Oh, he said take the ship down. I'm taking the ship down," and he did it not because of like, not like out of like, I mean, probably respect, but also just out of fear. He's like, "Oh, he's gonna do something worse to me." So I'm just gonna take this pill and die right here because, yeah, fuck that, And something that people have been speculating about because of all these things you're talking about, and you were talking about Battlefront, is that
that's possibly, what I was thinking too.
Yeah, you're gonna do. I thought so. Is that we're gonna possibly see Iden Versio, which honestly, you were just literally talking about like Luke and all this stuff that he was doing. Which could mean even more so we could see Luke. So, yeah.
What might also be cool is if there's more than one Skywalker. There is Leia. We could see a younger Leia, which would be interesting. I didn't even think about that. Like, these are both of Skywalker's kids. Like, I think it would be really cool. I think, for all we know, maybe they're tasked with a mission from Leia herself. Maybe that's the other thing too, because when I was talking about Battlefront, Iden Versio is very much active with the rebellion after the Empire's fall and the New Republic. So it would be cool to see Battlefront 2 Inferno Squadron characters. They would fit. It would make sense in the universe. They've been pulling from video games. And the fact that they named the planet Corvus. The Corvus is the ship that Inferno Squad flies. So and Janina Javankar was on the set of Mandalorian because she controlled the nostrils or the puppet, or helped with puppeteering one of the Mon Cala in this last episode. I highly doubt she was only there just to do that.
Yeah. I think like somebody who was a high-profile actor on like a main character in one of their, biggest games. Like,
exactly like her because of mocap.
Yeah, I'm like that's like if they put fucking what's his name from Jedi Fallen Order? He was just on set, and all he did was just do some puppet stuff. Nah. We'll see. But it's funny that you brought up the Corvus thing. Oh wait, what do you got? What do you got?
I just thought of something. I don't know if it'll happen, but remember how I said Favreau and Filoni are very much aware of the disappointment about the sequel franchise. I think they've slightly hinted at what they've said, like, we want to do stuff for fans. This is a stretch. But imagine AHSOKA, Cal Kestis, Ezra Bridger being all at the same place, and they are their own little force, entity, and group. Because we don't know what happens to Cal Kestis. We know there's going to be a sequel game.
Yeah,
It's past the realm of possibility to show them and show the Jedi a new version of it, and you pull all of these characters together.
And you know what's interesting about Cal Kestis? So we've already been talking about, right, how it's possible that Ahsoka is readopted being a Jedi, but she's making her own thing. And that's basically what Cal Kestis and what's the woman's name?
Sari?
Yes, yeah, Siri, yeah. And like him and her were, because they had that holocron and everything that had like the list of like names and everything. So I was like, I wonder if at some point somebody like Ahsoka, somebody like Cal Kestis and Siri, they're gonna like meet up, and like you said, we don't know what's gonna happen in the second game, but I'm assuming that Cal Kestis is probably gonna live through the second game, because I mean, not necessarily, because obviously Star Wars isn't afraid to kill people off, especially people who didn't appear in any of the original trilogies or whatever. But I feel like he's the main character to probably live, and if he does, I think it's possible that an older version of him and Ahsoka have tried to do their own sort of Jedi, thing, and then you could put other people throughout. Because my only issue with if Luke is in it, and this is really kind of the fault of the sequel trilogies because of what they did with with Luke's character, is that there would be so many parallels between Luke and Yoda if he took the child. So I'm like, so what would happen? Where would the child be? During all of the sequel trilogies, when Luke's doing all this stuff, when he like runs away, I just wouldn't see him being in this and like mentoring the child and like taking it in or anything, and then just like leaving it alone. You know what I mean? Because it would remind him so much of Yoda. I wouldn't see that. So I'm like, I almost feel like they can't have Yoda be the. I mean, they can't have they can't have Luke be the one that like take the child or like do anything with it, even if he isn't here, just because of that.
I don't think he would. And something, I just got reminded of something that I should have thought about a long time ago, and I'm beating myself up that I didn't. There were multiple Jedi temples. There was not a singular one.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not even be a separate thing. They could just be their own temple under Luke's new Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And I think it's very possible that you might see Ahsoka and those three together because maybe they found Cal.
And I think that Ahsoka would actually jump at the chance for that, because her issue with the Jedi was how uniform they were and how much like how they approach things. And now it's like, oh, Luke's like, hey, I'm starting anew. You were there during the Clone Wars and stuff. Like, what do you have to say, Ahsoka? What do you? I think she's gonna be fine with rejoining the Jedi and jumping at the chance to be a part of making better rules. But then again, the sequel trilogy kind of ruins that again, because of the whole Last Jedi thing, when he's like, I gave up being a Jedi because of all how they do things and blah blah blah. But I'm like, but he made new things, so it's like,
sweep that shit under the rug.
Yeah, it's like, we're just gonna retcon, all right? That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna retcon the shit out of that.
Indirectly retcon. I think it's because I think they'd rather make people happy and just be like, hey, there are these characters. We have a strong story. We're not even going to worry about what happened after. So we're going to make it like this.
Yeah. I think if overall they'll choose to better fan service than to stick to whatever the fuck was said in Last Jedi. Like, honestly. But it would be cool to definitely see all of those characters come together. And I forgot to point out, because I said this to you before, but they went to the planet like Trask, and Trask was a character in Knights of the Old Republic he wasn't an important character, but it was a character in Knights of the Republic. And you're talking about they like to reference video games and everything. So they keep doing all these like KOTOR references and shit since Rebels. And no, since Clone Wars, actually, they've been doing this. So I don't know. I feel like it's only a matter of time. They're focused on the High Republic right now. We'll see.
Yeah, the High Republic. I'm cautiously optimistic because they purposely like let out the first 6 chapters of a book, and I'm just like, I haven't read it and I hate reading digitally, so I'll just wait for the book to come out. But I'm like, I'm guessing they're just doing it to get hype, but I'm curious of how good it is, because here's the thing. I would be very worried if what their plan is for the next trilogy is set in the High Republic. Even if I enjoy the books and I enjoy the comics, to me it's just like you're just making a pseudo Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just do the real thing that people want and don't half-ass it. Like, or if you're gonna do it, let it lead to even older stories.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're using this as a catalyst or like a jumping off point for people who don't know the Old Republic. And it's like, we've already gone back this far, but let us take you back a little further, guys, to a guy named Revan. But yeah, I just want to see Revan. Sorry. But yeah.
But I just wonder if they would do. I'm curious of what they're going to reserve their films for and what they're going to do as TV shows.
Well, I feel like TV shows are definitely more, so far, like spin-off territory, it seems. So we'll see, because like, yeah, Clone Wars was a spin-off from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Rebels was a spin-off of just that little like area between, you know, Mandalorian's literally a spin-off of just Mandalorians. So that's what I feel like that's what's going to be reserved for. That's what Solo should have been. It should have been a TV series, honestly. I feel that, could you imagine if Solo was a TV series? It would have been actually like so good, I think.
I think it would have been phenomenally better.
Yeah.
Because like I think you could have planned it more. I think
Fleshed out characters more.
For sure. And I think like, I don't blame Ron Howard. I think he did a good. Here's the thing. I don't care too much for Solo. I never wanted Solo, but considering everything Ron Howard was up against, including that script, I get what we got and why we got it, and I don't think anyone else could have done it any better.
Yeah, the fact that it was honestly still pretty like decent, like it was watchable. It wasn't frustrating or anything. It had decent continuity, so I'm like, it just wasn't that exciting, or like there was never any points that were great. But that's not, that's kind of the fault of just the movie idea in general. It's just not. It wasn't a good movie idea to just have a Solo movie.
There's other characters that I think deserved it far more, like Kenobi.
Yeah.
But I'm glad.
Look at that series.
I'm glad it's getting a series, but I would have loved seeing Ewan on the big screen again. So
yeah.
I'm hoping by the time that comes out, maybe they'll do a screening or something of it. I'm hoping, but I don't know. They only did it like kind of with Mando. That's the thing that I miss, though. I'll enjoy The Mandalorian, but I feel like I would enjoy all of this more if I saw it on the big screen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like what The Boys was doing. They were having like these drive-in like premieres for their like for the season that just came out. They literally had a big drive-in like premiere, and it's like, the driving, you just tune in in your car or whatever.
Yeah,
you're able to listen to it, and I don't know if they do radio anymore. I feel like they just use like Bluetooth or something or whatever, and it's like you can just tune in and listen to it, and that was pretty cool. So I'm like, I'd love to see them try that. Unfortunately, there's not too many drive-ins around my area. I'm pretty sure in your area there's plenty.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, but it's LA. They got a lot, I'm sure. There's like one in San Jose over here or something like. But yeah, that would be cool. Definitely, Star Wars is meant to be seen on a big screen for sure, and it just adds to it.
Yeah, like you could contract like a chain or just a slew of like drive-ins and be like, hey, do you guys want to do this series for us? People could either pay this much to watch all of the episodes every single week, or they can buy them individually. You guys can make exclusive merch that you can sell. Like, there are ways that this could be done even now.
I would love to see drive-ins come back into style.
I think they have because of COVID. Like, we've gone a few times and I've never been to one before, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, they're super cool. So I'm like, I would love to see that. But yeah, excellent episode. I'm excited. Like, I think so far, Mandalorian isn't disappointing. Like the first two episodes, we were a little shaky. Like we're not really progressing the story too much right now. I feel like this was a big one, and obviously we know for sure Ahsoka's coming. We already kind of knew that, but yeah, like I'm pumped. Let's just fast forward to the next week real quick. Okay.
Do you think, before you go, there is the possibility of having Inferno Squad members there? If they are there, do you think they will just be in the background and like, if you know, you know? Or do you think they'll also be kind of a little front and center?
I think honestly, there's a very good chance now. There was like things I didn't expect to be in the show that they put into the show. So I'm like, I think it's possible. Like I said, they're drawing from everything, like video games, movies, shows. Like I'm pretty sure they'll draw from like probably like a mini series. They'll probably draw from fucking, even though it was terrible, Star Wars. What was it? Rebellion. What was it?
Oh, Resistance.
Yeah, Resistance. They'll probably draw from that. Like they'll have some character from that in there or something. Like who knows? But I think anything's honestly possible in this show, and they're kind of like letting us know that because I honestly didn't expect Bo-Katan, at least not this early. I'm like, she's a Mandalorian, so I was like, maybe. I'm like, would she be alive now? I'm like, yeah, she's not too old, I guess, but I didn't expect her to just be in season 2, episode 3. I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll go to Mandalore later or something, and he'll meet Bo-Katan, and she's trying to like rebuild, but nope, there she was. So I think anything's possible, man.
Yeah, and I think since all of the people from Inferno Squad are mocap, like they look like them, I would love to see Del Meeko too, who's Aiden's love interest and part of Inferno Squad, because the guy, he looks like him. Like that's Del to a T. So
yeah,
I would be very happy, even if they were just in the background. Like it fills out and you understand. I'm very curious of what a forest planet like that and like Corvus would be, because it sounds, maybe it's got a strong connection to the Force and it has a temple there, and that's where Ahsoka's at.
Yeah. Oh, one more question. Do you think we'll see the I can't remember the name of it now, but the little bird thing that I guess is connected to Ahsoka now? Do you think we'll see that in live action?
I think that'd be cool. Like it would make some sense, and maybe it's kind of like it's like one of like Ahsoka's little nuances, like how Yoda has his cane. Palps is always in those fucking big ass robes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be kind of cool to see, her having like a pet or something that's a Force connection with her.
Yeah, I'd love to see that too. Because it's always like I would love for them to introduce Ahsoka that way. Actually, like we see it, and I feel like that's something they would definitely do. I honestly now I'm like I feel like that's like 100% gonna happen. We're gonna see that first, and then you're gonna be like, here she comes, like. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen.
What if that's the cliffhanger? Like you see the bird flying across.
I could see them doing that.
Land on the shoulder, and then that's it.
I could see them doing something like that for sure. Like that would be an amazing reveal. And then I have one last question, just because. What do you think are the chances because we're already like, okay, there's gonna be Luke. What do you think the chances we'll get like references to like Vader, like other shit as well, like actual like maybe see like footage, like not like footage, but like flashbacks or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got it, just because, again, I think they know the disappointments for certain things. And I also think, too, because I was talking with one of my friends who we got to have on here, Chris, he mentioned that it might be cool just for Ahsoka to just kind of give the Mando the rundown of the universe at this point, because the Mando seems like he's pretty disconnected from
Yeah,
what happened all this time.
he's real fish out of the water.
Like it's surprising, but maybe it's because when you're stuck with the Mandalorians, you only know so much, and
Only they
they
live
give you.
underground.
Well, it's also they probably give you, if it is the Death Watch, they probably give you this weird kind of twisted version of history. It's just kind of like U.S. history. We tell it from our perspective. They're telling it from theirs. He might
Yeah,
not know all of this stuff, so it would be very cool to see how he relearns certain elements of his life, or about the galaxy through her eyes. And she is a trustworthy narrator. And I think it might even force him further to really dig deep and figure out, who the hell am I?
yeah, and I
Do I
think he's already like displaying a little bit of that, like
Yeah.
how he was gonna straight up kill the marshal at first, but after he saw that the marshal was like a good person, heroic and everything, he's like, okay, you know what, I respect you. I'm still gonna take this armor, but I respect you. you know. And then with Bo-Katan, I think he understands and he can see that they're like absolutely Mandalorians, and he's like, damn, so there's more than one way. Like he's like, I think he's just confused, like, but I thought that this was the way. Like, yeah. So that something interesting. Like when you grow up doing things a certain way, or like obviously he was raised by the Watch, like Death Watch, and they told him this is how things are. This is the way. This is how you have to do this. You can't take your helmet off. You can't do this. Can't do that. And it's like since he was a kid, that's all he's known. So it's gonna be hard for him to. And I don't know how old Din Djarin's supposed to be, because I know that Pedro Pascal himself is like 38. I don't know that if he's supposed to be younger than that
I think he's
or.
rough. Well, you have to figure he was alive when the droids attacked. So
Mhm.
he's got to be at least, I would say, 30.
Yeah, yeah,
He's probably mid 30s, because Clone Wars didn't end then. He's probably about mid 30s, I would say.
yeah. Okay. Mm. But
Because
yeah, it's gonna be hard for him to just reverse his whole way of thinking. That's what I was talking about with the helmet. He's done it for so long. Like around other people, I still don't think he'll take it off, even if he does feel differently. But who knows? We'll see. Pedro Pascal is, according to all these YouTube channels, he was quitting because he wanted to show his face more. Season 3's canceled. Nah.
Well, from a source that I know who's been pretty good, he said that there was a little drama, but nothing to the extent that
Yeah.
lady was reporting.
I'm pretty sure they just said season 3 is about to start filming now, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. All those videos are gonna be real outdated, huh?
Grace Randolph is like AIDS to the Star Wars fandom, and I've never really cared for her movie reviews even before this. I don't get why people think she's like this super reliable source. I have better sources at Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I don't even know who that person is. So yeah,
And I keep my friends' stuff in confidence, so.
mm-hmm.
And it always depends too. Like some people will have a source that only hears a part. It's like telephone. Like
Yeah,
it moves to someone and the bias gets mixed. But
yeah. So sometimes you can see like when something finally comes out, where a rumor probably came from, and you're like, okay, I see what they thought was gonna happen here, and I got misconstrued and then turned into something completely different. So you can kind of understand it's like they thought that this was gonna happen based off of what this person told them, and then this other person, and then it came through all these people and just changed form to whatever the fuck it ends up being. But especially on social media, because yeah, people change the whole story from like, somebody sneezed to somehow like he sneezed on somebody's face and killed them immediately, and it's just like, whoa, where'd all that come from? So yeah, it's a wild world there, kids. Careful what you watch.
Don't trust strangers.
Read. I mean, that's all I do is people just watch strangers now. It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
But
also watch us if you don't know us. Okay.
It's like, yes, no.
Talk to us. We're okay. We're cool.
But I think that'll do it for us today. This has been Jabbering Jawas with Joey One Kenobi and
Will Sith with Thrill.
Yeah. May the Force be with you.
Always.